who became completely captivated by the stories John was writing.
Well, you know, perhaps I'm getting old, but in my day, I seem to remember that when we were teenagers, we read a book and we went to a youth club and we perhaps attended a debate. But these kids now, they're brought up on a diet of Hollywood films. And John told me that much of his inspiration was plagiarized from these films. And in particular, the James Bond character inspires much of what lies behind Janet Dobinson and what she is writing to Mark.
John claimed to have been astonished that Mark was happy to perform the ever more outrageous tasks he'd set for him, even going as far as stabbing his friend. But Mark claims never to have doubted the veracity of the stories.
This was his book. It was being written specifically for him. It was tuned into his likes and dislikes, his interests and so on. It would be very difficult for any of us to resist that. I wonder whether Mark's experience was similar to the kind of experiences that we have, say, if we follow a soap opera like EastEnders or Neighbours, or famous examples of, say, in Dallas, where JR comes back from the dead. We suspend our disbelief in a very peculiar way in those kinds of stories.
Mark spent 8 months in prison on remand before he was finally sentenced to a 2-year supervision order. He's unable to use the internet unsupervised and isn't allowed into chat rooms.
He was mightily relieved. He was very tearful, very emotional, as were his family. Great weight off their shoulders, and they were all very keen to put it behind them and get on with their ordinary lives.
John did not go to prison at all. He received a 3-year supervision order and is also unable to use the internet unsupervised or chat rooms at all. He's made a full recovery from the injuries he sustained in the stabbing.
Well, you never saw a boy more relieved than John, and indeed Mark, when the judge said that he was not going to send them to custody. They were very frightened young men.
Mark and John are never allowed to meet each other again.
I doubt John will ever forget the trauma of this case, not just because it's the most enormous and horrific experience for a kid of this age to attend the Crown Court with the flashbulbs popping and to think that he's going to go down, as undoubtedly he did fear, at the end of the hearing, but also because he had physical wounds. You know, he was within an inch of losing his life. Since, I'm told, he has progressed very well at school. He's a star pupil, predicted to get A's in his GCSEs, predicted to go on to university. I'm told he has a girlfriend now. So you see, I put all this down to the problems of adolescence. And some of us remember we were pretty difficult adolescents too. Happily, the judge remembered that, obviously.
Jacobson may have fathered, through artificial insemination, approximately 75 children.
I said, Dr. Jacobson, do you ever use your own sperm? And he said, sometimes. But I do it because I want my patients to have smart kids. I was so dumbfounded, I didn't even know what to say to him.
That's next Tuesday at 10. There's advice for parents and teenagers about using the net safely at channel4.com/psycho. Next tonight, he won a MOBO and is now facing cancer, looking for a donor for DJ Swing.